Ma'am, I'm John Mark Perez, and I'm here to perform transferring. So the purpose of transferring is to promote comfort to the patient, to relieve various pressure to the body parts of the patient, to stimulate blood circulation, to promote body alignment, and to prevent complications due to immobility. To assess the physical ability of the patient if patient's body is very well to cooperate in this transferring. Next is the ability of the patient to understand from all of my instructions. Next, the degree of comfort and discomfort of the patient so I can avoid any irritations to the skin of the patient or discomfort to the patient. Next is the weight of the patient so I can know if how many assistants that I need, like how many nurses that I need to perform this transferring. Next is the availability of equipment and personnel to assist. Next is the assistive devices. Next is hindrance of movement. Next is the medication of the patient that he or she taking. Next is the assistance from the other medical personnel. Next is functionality and availability of all supplies. The first transferring that I will perform is moving up in bed. So the purpose of moving up in bed is to assist the patient who slide down from the bed because of the founder's position. I will assist the patient to move up in bed. Good morning, sir. I am John Mark Perez, and I'm here to perform moving up in bed. So the purpose of this is to move you up in bed because you slide down from the founder's position. And next, I need to perform hand hygiene. And next, I need to prevent or provide client's privacy. Next, first I need to adjust the head of the bed as low as the patient can tolerate. Next, I need to lock all the wheels of the bed. Imagine that there is a wheel in the bed. And next, I need to put all the side rails up so I can provide safety to the patient. Imagine there is a side rails. Next, I need to place a pillow in the head part of the bed so the patient can avoid head injury when he is hitting the head part of the bed. So for the patient that is didn't require any assistance, encourage her, sir, uh, place your both arm and grasp the side of the bed. Yan. Next is flex your knees, sir. Yan. And next is assess if the patient needs any friction devices when sliding upward so we can avoid any irritations in the skin. So the patient don't need any friction devices. Next is encourage her to slide up. Sir, slide up, sir. And next, for the patient who is partially able to assist, for the patient who is weighing less than 200 pounds, we can use friction reducing device and 2 assistants. And next, for the patient who is weighing between 201 and 300 pounds, we can use a friction reducing device and 4 assistants. And next, for the patient who is weighing more than 300 pounds, we can use air transfer system and 2 assistants. And this patient is weighing less than 200 pounds, so we can use a friction device and me, assistants. We use a draw sheet as a friction device because we don't have any friction device. Next, encourage the patient to flex her hips and knees and position it for effective pushing later. Next is encourage the patient or instruct the patient to place her both arms in her chest in cross position. Next is place the assistive device, which is these draw sheets, to avoid or to lessen any frictions. Next, my position should be facing toward the movement of the patient, which is moving upward or to the head part of the bed. Next, I need to place my stronger leg in my front and my weaker leg in the back of my front leg. And next, I need to tighten up my gluteal and my abdominal and hold both feet of the patient. And next, I need to count 1, 2, 3 so the patient can cooperate effectively. Sir, you should move you should move up when I count 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. So like that. Patient who is unable to assist, first, instruct the patient to put her both arms into his chest, cross. Next, because the patient is weighing 200 pounds, I need a assistance. Next, because we don't have any friction device or any device that can move the patient upwards, we have a draw sheet. So this draw sheet, so we need to roll this down. And next, I need to tell to my assistant that in the count of 3, we need to push upward the patient so we are synchronized so we can avoid any accidents and falls to the patient. Next is the body mechanics. We need to perform body mechanics so we can avoid injury to ourselves. 1, 2, 3. So next is I need to ensure the patient's safety. And I need to put the side rails up. Next is leg rolling. So this technique is used to the patient whose body is needed to straighten alignment and kept in all time. And first step in leg rolling is we need to place ourselves and the client in appropriate position. And I have assistant to help me in this performance. Next is we need to pull the client towards to us, but first I need to instruct the patient to put his both arms in his chest. Sir, put your both arms. Okay, like that. And next, we have a draw sheet as a transferring device. We need to roll it down. And assume a broad stance, and which is 1 foot forward and 1 foot outward or away from the front leg. Next, we need to be synchronized so we can avoid any accident or injuries. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So after that, the other assistant should be go to the other side of the bed and we need to place a pillow to the head of the patient so when we turn the patient it can avoid injuries or to prevent relaxation or to promote relaxation. And next I need to put a pillow, 1 or 2 pillow between the legs of the patient so when the patient's turn, the upper leg of the patient is in a relaxed position. So, sir. And next, we need to assume the leg rolling position, which is the nurse's hips is flexed and in broad stance again, which is 1 foot forward, 1 foot forward again, like this. And place our hands in position, this. And turn the client towards me. And next, the other assistant need to put a pillow so to remain the alignment or body alignment of the patient. And next, I need to ensure the client safety, so I need to put the rails upward. And that's for the leg rolling. next is assisting the client to sit in the side of the bed or the dangling. And the purpose of this dangling is to assume that the patient is sitting on the edge of the bed before walking, eating, and sitting, and other activities. So the first step is I need to place myself appropriately and position the patient appropriately, which is lateral position. And I need to raise up the head part of the bed slowly until to its highest position. In our case, we don't have any bed that can adjust its head part. So I need to get any pillow and adjust the level of the head part of the patient. And next, I need to assume broad stance, which is my one foot is forward and my one foot is in backward. And next, I need to place my one arm around the patient shoulder, like this, and my one arm into the patient's near to the knee, back of the knee, near to the back of the knee of the patient. Next, I need to tighten my gluteal, tighten my leg, and tighten my abdominal and my pivot joint. Next, I need to slide the patient's knees to the edge of the bed. What, sir? In the count of 3, sir. 1, 2. And next, hold the patient until he said he is not dizzy. Sir, are you dizzy, sir? Do you feel any dizziness? And if it's needed, I need to assess vital signs. Next is teaching moving, leg exercise, deep breathing, and coughing. So the purpose of this moving is to enhance lung expansion, to promote venous return, and the purpose of the leg exercise is to promote venous return. And the purpose of deep breathing and coughing is to enhance lung expansion and mobilize secretions. Next, first is I need to show to the patient the ways to turn into bed and the ways to get out of the bed. First, assume that the patient have a right abdominal or chest incision. Flex the knee. Place a pillow under the left arm of the patient. Next is move to the left side of the bed while pushing with your right foot and grasping left side rail using your right hand, sir. Yes. Come in sitting position, sir, using your right hand pushing downwards against the mattress, sir. And your leg should swing down in the edge of the bed. And next, if the patient have a left chest and abdominal incision, he can do the same procedure, but he need to turn in right. Next is I will teach the patient the 3-leg exercise. In the 3-leg exercise, first is the dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. First is the dorsiflexion. So in the dorsiflexion, the toe of the patient should pointing upwards like this. And next is the plantar flexion. In the plantar flexion, the toe of the patient pointing downwards, which is like that. That's the first leg exercise. Next is the second leg exercise, which is flexing the knee. Sir, flex your knee. Flexing the knee. Straighten the knee. Dorsiflexion. And I will push the knee of the patient while doing the dorsiflexion. Again, flex your knee, sir. Straighten. Dorsiflexion, sir. And I will push the knee of the patient. Again, flex, straighten, dorsey, push the knee of the patient. So the third is you will raise the leg of the patient alternately. The one is in flex position and the other one is in straightened position, like that. And the patient should do this alternately, like this, alternately, change. Yes. Yes. Do it other. So, that's the third exercise in leg position. Straight, deep breathing exercise. While on sitting position, we can demonstrate it by, sir, place your palm on the border of your rib cage. Next is inhale in your nose, sir, until you achieve the greatest expansion of your chest. Hold your breath 2 to 3 seconds, sir. Exhale in your mouth, sir. Can you cough, sir, 2 to 3 times? Sir, can you repeat what we've done? The deep breath exercise, can you do it again? Okay, good sir, good sir. So, ensure that the client's cough is not just to clear his throat, but it needed to be deep cough. Next in transferring is transferring the patient from bed to chair. So the first step in transferring the patient from bed to chair is I need to lower the bed to its lowest position. So the foot of the patient will rest on the floor. But in our case, our bed can adjust. Next, I need to assess if the patient have a history of orthostatic hypotension. Next is I need to assess or ensure bathrobe or any footwear. We have here a slippers. Next, I need to lock all the wheels in the bed. Assume that our bed have a wheels. So I will lock it. Next is we will use a chair instead of wheelchair. Place it parallel on the bed and near on the bed. And next, instruct the patient to move forward to you. So you can move forward, sir. And instruct the patient to move in sitting position. Sir, sir, 1, 2. And next, we should use gait belt, but in our case, we only have a ordinary belt, so we can use it too. Next is, I will put it in the patient's waist. On putting the patient's belt, the forefinger should be fitted in the belt. Next is instruct the patient to hold in my neck or in my shoulder. Sir, hold in my shoulder, sir. And next, I need to perform body mechanics, and I need to hold the gait belt or the belt around the patient's waist. Place my arm around the patient's waist, and instruct the patient in the count of 3. I will move him to the chair. Sir, in the count of 3, I will move you to the chair, sir. I will do that, sir. 1, 2, 3, 2. So next, I need to assess if the patient feel any dizziness. Sir, do you feel any dizziness? No. Next is, I need to ensure the client's safety by pushing her further in the wheelchair or the chair. Next in transferring is assisting the client to ambulate. The purpose of this is to promote a safety condition to for the patient to walk with any assistance. The first step in this is I need to assess if the patient have any signs and symptoms of orthostatic hypotension. Sir, do you feel any dizziness?
No.
Next, I need to ensure the patients wear bathrobe or any slippers like this one. Next is I will move the patient in sitting position in the edge of the bed. Sir, Sir, do you feel any dizziness?
No.
Next, after that, I can use gait belt to ensure the client safetyness. Next, after that, encourage the patient to walk independently, but walk beside the patient. Sir, can you walk? Uh, while the patient is walking, we need to walk beside the patient and walk in the same speed and the same step that the patient's taking. Sir, let's walk. Sir, bye. Ensure the client's safety. Remain physically close to the patient and have a chair beside us so that when the patient feel any dizziness, we can put patient in the chair. Next, uh, walk. And next, we can use gait belt to ensure the client safetyness while walking. Handling the belt in the back of the patient. Sir, walk. And in special condition, if the patient feel any dizziness while ambulating, we can put the patient to the chair and let the dizziness subside. So that's all for the transferring. Document all the data after that.